Something is wrong with school. Various studies and reports hint at it. Comparisons of global education systems show it. But there's something looming even larger than our 36th ranked education system. You feel it when you walk into school each day. You see it in the eyes of each student. Instead of learning because of school, it often feels as though most learning occurs despite school. My ideal school is built on the premise that there is no easy fix or any small change that can alter the course of our education system. I assume the current system is broken, and the only thing that will fix it is to turn our paradigms of what school should look like upside down. What's wrong is centered around what's different about today's students. Today's students are connected. The traditional school that churned out factory workers 100 years ago is obsolete. Today's students are connected to each other and to a global resource of knowledge. How they learn is different. They don't want to be lectured to. They want to be respected and trusted and have their opinions valued and count. They want to be part of their learning. Mark Prensky dubbed this partnering in a pedagogy that this ideal school is based upon. What students need to know is also different. 21st century skills call for a change. Core curriculum should be centered around these 6 things: thinking critically and making judgment. Information is readily available, so instead of memorizing information, students at this school will learn to research instead of search, which involves assessing reliability of sources, valuing information, evaluating and applying it to problems, solving complex, multidisciplinary, open-ended problems. What this means is that real life does not have multiple choices. Rarely is there one single answer. Reasoning through these complex problems with many options, imagining possible outcomes from actions, is essential for schools to do the same, and so this would occur in groups of various students with different knowledge and skills. Creativity. Imagination is dead when the PowerPoint tells you what to think. Embracing different ideas and challenging students to produce unconventional questions will lead to better students in classrooms that are truly alive. Fourth, communicating and collaborating. Not only locally but globally, through personal learning networks, our learners will be equipped with skills to work with diverse teams. Social media is a link to be embraced, not banned. Interacting competently and respectfully is not inherent, but learned. Fifth, making innovative use of technology. Students have the mindset that teachers have a monopoly on knowledge, and as a learner, they lack the ability to innovate topics and contribute to knowledge. At My Ideal School, through wikis, blogs, and other social media, our learners will be empowered to create and see that their thoughts can quickly produce new ideas and change their world. Lastly, taking charge of their lives. Just like basic needs need to be met for students to learn, adults need to have a base of stability to contribute, so our students will be taught financial, health, and social choice skills that will help them make proper choices in an increasingly complex world. The basic school philosophy at My Ideal School is based on the idea that instead of looking at our students as train cars to be pulled by a teacher to a destination, that our students are more like rockets. We just need to fuel them and let them go wherever they want to go. So, our goal is to fuel our students with strategies to be content, inspiration to try, and tools to discover. The organization of the ideal school is getting rid of curricular constraints, having the flexibility of students to choose what they're passionate about. So there's no set classes that they have to take. It allows students to pursue and master topics of interest. Management in an open, sort of flexible environment can be tricky. The basic assumption is that our students have a desire to learn. Where they are and what they're doing will be driven through technology. They'll be given iPads one to one. Google Plus and social media will allow them to check in places, register for things, and interact with teachers and other students, and create their personal learning network. Lastly, and most importantly, a mentoring program will be established. This will guide and monitor students' progress. They'll have houses much like college fraternities or sororities, and they'll function to serve both a community service role and a guidance role. They'll be made up of a mix of age students. Ninth grade students would choose their house based on its community service role. Each house would have an adult team of teachers and parents who would provide guidance, but the focus of the house would be mentoring. Older students would mentor younger students, help them make choices, choose the right classes, help them with homework, whatever they need. Part of each day is dedicated to house time, allowing for this mentoring and guidance to occur. A foundational aspect of my ideal school is that it's holistic and it addresses the needs of the entire child. The school is based on the assumption that all their basic needs need to be met before we can learn. So, emotional and social and physical needs will be ensured that they're met. Climate and culture will be important, creating an environment that is safe, an environment that's positive, and a culture of working together will be part of this school. Thirdly, meditation will start off every day. Quiet time, where things like yoga, writing, music, cooking, art will be provided by a rotating set of volunteers, students, teachers, and parents. The assumption is that a reflective centering exercise to start off each day will create a solid foundation. On that solid foundation, true learning that's worth doing can be built. Learning at my ideal school is based on two ideas: partnering and differentiation. Both require technology. iPads, Google, social media will be used to accomplish partnering. Partnering is a pedagogy founded in constructivist theory, where the teacher kind of moves the class away from sitting passively and receiving information and towards learning in their own way, utilizing the tools they have at their fingertips. The roles of teacher and student are different. Students are a self-teacher. They research, they think, they make sense. They're technology experts. They change the world. They are much, much more active in this idea. The teacher steps away from the front of the classroom and moves into a coach, guide, goal setter, questioner, designing learning, context provider, works really hard behind the scenes to create a successful environment where students can learn the way that they want to learn. Differentiation is the second aspect of my school. Research shows that it's essential to create the right amount of cognitive dissonance for learning to take place. Challenge a learner too much and they give up. Fail to challenge them enough and they ignore the material. So differentiation aims to discover and hit the ideal level of challenge and assumes that learners are at different starting points. To accomplish this, students will sign up for a class, take a pretest that will place them in the environment where a lesson awaits them at the proper difficulty level. Formative post-test will show if growth has occurred and what the next learning step is. The core classes are no longer science, math, social, and English. Core classes are learning, science, technology, communication, human context, and outreach. Learning would be looking at organization, studying, emotional intelligence, planning projects, and managing conflict. Science would be looking at experiments, problem solving, and math. Technology would be looking at the current technology of today. So if it was right now, we'd be looking at Microsoft Office, social media, Google Power Searching, home technology, and how to utilize those things. Communication is media, languages, and logic. Human context would be history and geography, political science, arts, and music. And then outreach and application. They'll apply their learning to life and current events going on, and then take action in regards to what they learned. Assessment at my school would be very different. First off, they would all be open internet tests. The idea is they don't need to memorize anything. They need to find the information and then apply it. So tests would be rewritten to focus on critical thinking and reasoning using information they can find freely online. They would be looking at, instead of A's through F's, they would be given a mastery level on a 1 to 10 scale for each of the big core classes, along with sub-skills within each one. Formative would occur in a pre- and post-test. Summative would be oral exams, after which they be given their level of mastery score. In terms of the skills that we're trying to assess, these would be more in a merit badge style, where students would, if they accomplished something, receive a designation that they accomplished it, much like a merit badge. The idea of this assessment strategy is in the gamification realm, where students enjoy ranking up, gaining skills in the different video games that they play. So, trying to make relevant, authentic assessment that also gives them a visual where they can see their progress and see that they're learning and gaining and moving up. This leads to finals and graduation. Finals. Finals are oral interviews. These are where they will receive their scores of mastery. They schedule the time. Um, there are windows of opportunity where they can do these interviews, and they could retake finals numerous times to achieve higher scores, higher levels of mastery. Um, and that goes on to their report card. Which brings me to graduation. I love this. Graduation is done by a panel interview with representatives of each department. They sit there, they talk through what the student has learned. At the end, the panel decides if they want to give a diploma. What's even better is that regardless of if they earn a diploma, they're done after their senior year. So what they would receive if they didn't get a diploma is simply a quote-unquote report card of what skills they learned, how much mastery they achieved at different things, what merit badges they got, aka what skills they have. So if a student does nothing, their report card will show that they've done nothing, and that's what they leave school with. Now, ideally, interventions through the houses, through mentoring, would not allow that to happen, but the onus is on the student to achieve the levels of mastery that they want. How will this work? Well, we fuel students' passions, and then that's their first goal. And secondly, we don't allow them to be helpless bystanders in their education. This will be done by co-teaching, having numerous teachers available, changing strategies on the fly, showing, modeling good working together, will be all things that teachers will do. The mentoring program will be essential to make sure that this passion is being given. The idea that older students will help younger students to figure out what they want to do. The environment and schedule. It's a flexible schedule and therefore needs flexible facilities. The design is going to be movable walls, movable tables to create different size classrooms, different cluster settings. The furniture will be minimal. The lighting will be modern and passive. There'll be art room, physical education room, music space. The classrooms will transform easily. There'll be pods for each house. Most of all, the environment will be soothing. I like calm, and I think that's good for learning to occur. The outline of the day is kind of a rotating between lessons and independent study. So at 8 a.m., they start with their stress management. Then they go to house breakfast, where they meet with their house members for mentoring and planning. The first lesson is at 9, followed by an independent study or group time. What the lesson is they choose it based on interest and sign up on their iPads. A pretest is taken, and then that will differentiate them into a certain lesson. After the lesson is over, there's a group or independent study. This could be a number of things. The first lesson might have given an assignment for them to work on. Otherwise, they can work on other skills that they're trying to master, studying for things. Meet with a teacher. This second lesson occurs of their choice, and then another group time. Lunch, third lesson, group time, fourth lesson, and then house meeting once again. End of day is at 3:15. Teacher day mirrors the student day. They started a half hour earlier to meet with other teachers and co-teachers and plan their day. They also take part in stress management, and then they meet with their house that they're assigned as an advisor for. They teach a lesson, then they have what's called open office, where they might just have open office hours where they can meet with students who need help. But they're also going to be required to collaborate, actually learn with the students, take part in some of those collaborative things that are going on. Teach another lesson, another open office, lunch, lesson 3, open office, lesson 4, then meet with their house again. How will we document success? Students and teachers will be given contentment surveys to see if they feel like they are in a good place and if they're learning. School culture and community will show if there's growth in grades and skills. We'll look at how many behavior referrals we have. And then lastly, student achievement after school and post-secondary goals, if they meet them, will tell us if our school is successfully uh, preparing students for the next step. Thank you.